All right, so my orchard. We put the trees in here it was 2018. I got 49 trees, and out of the 49 trees, I've had to replace pretty close to 20 trees. That's not cheap. So, out of the 49 trees, 37 of them are planted the Ellen White method. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to put that up here in the corner or at the end of the video. So 37 out of the 49 are planted the Ellen White method, and the rest of them are just planted the way you would normally plant a tree. Now, I've lost close to 20, and I pretty much lost, didn't matter whether it was the Ellen White method or the a regular method, I lost trees to both, both ways. That first year, when you're planting trees, it's very critical. You have to not water them too much, and of course you have to water them enough. You have to make sure the soil drains well. But even then, when the way I'm thinking is, you go to all these different nurseries around, you're buying all these different trees, and not only are you bringing trees to your property, but you're also bringing whatever disease is on them. So, I mean, I don't know how these trees get disease, if they're from touching one another, bugs, landing on them and mixing the diseases from tree to tree. I'm not a tree expert. But this spot right here, this is, let's see, I had a apple tree here. I had a peach tree. I replaced it with this pink lady apple tree. Now this one I planted maybe 2 months ago, and now it just lost all its leaves, and I don't know what happened. So, and I'm replacing it with this yellow, I think it's a yellow delicious here apple. So it's not dead. I can feel it's still flexible, and it's not dried up or anything. It's still a little green on the ends here. If it's going to come back, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this out, and I'm going to put it in a different area and see if I can revive it or something. I don't know. But in the meantime, I'm going to replace it with this here. I got some extra dirt from somewhere else, a different area of my property. I mixed in some compost. I mixed in some peat moss in there and some vermiculite. And I just tried to change the soil composition a little bit, because maybe there's something going on here, So, like I said, I'm going to pull this out, put this one in. Let me show you around. I'll show you what has been doing really good, what type of trees, and what hasn't been doing good. All right? All right, so this was my garden back in 2018. How it looked when we just finished the orchard. And now this is how it looks today. Now the obvious big difference is I put the garden in. So the trees have grown, but a lot I did have to replace. So this peach tree is the original tree they put in here. Actually, the original one died, but a new growth come out of the root stock, and so technically I really don't know what type of peach this is, but it's a peach tree. This I just replaced. It was another peach tree here, just like this one, and the other three I also replaced. Peach trees don't do well here. I don't know why, but they don't last that long, and like I mentioned before, the leaves would just droop down, turn yellow, and fall off, and the tree would die. So it had to be something with the root system. Something was going on there for the leaves to just drop like that. So let me show you what's doing really good. Here we have two Fuji persimmons, this one and this one here. These do pretty good. They both produce fruit. In fact, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish, about 5 persimmons on here right now. But these have no problem. They do really good. Yeah, they do really good. Now over here I have some kefir pears that are doing fantastic. Now this tree is a kefir pear, and this one is a kefir pear. They're good for they're good for canning. Yeah, they're always hard, these pears. So what we do is we can them. This year, this one produced a decent amount. We had like 5 or 6 jars, quart jars full of pears. They're good for canning, but that's pretty much it, because they're very hard pears. They're both in some dire need of pruning. So this winter, when this goes dormant, I'm going to prune it really good. This one back here, it just doesn't produce any fruit. I'm going to wait 1 more year. If it doesn't produce any more fruit, then next year I might end up replacing it. All right, so what has done good here is my nectarines. I have 4 nectarine trees here, and they are doing really good. In fact, I have a picture here of me last year after I planted it, and they were very small, as you can see. And after a year now, they surpassed me, and we got some fruit out of these too this year, quite a bit actually. But the problem was the raccoons got to them before I did. It was honestly, it was just like a few days before I was going to pick them. I was looking at them. I said, "Boy, they're looking pretty good." Wouldn't you know it, I came back out here, and all I found was the pits on the bottom of the tree. Now that is enough to get you upset. All right, this here is my Violet du Bordeaux fig tree. This has been putting out fruit for us this year. We've gotten quite a bit out of here for a tree this size. I planted quite a few, 4. See, I got 4 or 5 fig trees right now. I did have some turkey figs. For some reason, I don't know why, my turkey figs just don't do well on my property, because I hear other people here in East Texas saying that they do fantastic. I haven't had that kind of luck. The problem with me with the turkey figs is during the winter we'll have a couple of nights of like really cold, in the teens weather. I think last year or the year before we had 12 degrees for like 2 nights in a row. During the day it's not too bad, but at night it gets cold for like a couple of days. And that usually it kills them right down to the root level, and then they resprout again out of the root. I can't keep doing that every year, you know. So this tree survived here. Now here's a picture of this, well actually not this one, but another black mission that I planted, and this one looked exactly just like it. They were just inches off the ground, and after a year it turned into this. First they'll bush out, you know, but I ended up cutting all the I guess you call them suckers coming out of the bottom. Cut those all off and just kept 1 stem. And that's it right there, and it looks pretty good for a fig tree. I also have, and this is my pride and joy, and I can't wait till these grow, I ordered 2 fig trees from Malta. That's the island just under Sicily. They were cuttings, and I ordered 4, and only 2 of them made it. Let me show you what those look like. All right, so this here is my Figazzana fig tree. I ordered these from Malta. I ordered this one, and I have another one over here that I ordered. They were just little cuttings. They were probably the size of my finger, a little longer. And out of the 4, this one and that other one made it. And that was actually during the summer. Well, I should say late spring, early summer. And in that short amount of time, it's grown that much. And it has produced some figs, but usually the first figs are very small and they fall off. All right, so this one here is my Texas Blue Giant. I also planted this, oh man, was it last year? Or was it early this year? I'm starting to forget now. but it bushed out, and it hasn't produced any fruit this year, but next year it should. These produce very, very large figs, and I'm waiting for this next year to produce some figs. Here we have pomegranates. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. This middle one here is an olive tree. But the third one down was a pomegranate. It died. I replaced it with a nectarine. They don't do well here, the pomegranates. Our weather's pretty mild. Maybe it's too humid. I'm not sure. But they just don't do well here, the pomegranates. These were called wonderful. Let me see. Yeah, wonderful pomegranates. Again, they just don't do well here. Olive tree is doing really good. It needs to be pruned. A lot of my trees here need to be pruned, but this is the first year. I'm kind of letting them do their thing. During that when it goes dormant this winter, I'm going to prune a lot of these trees. Let me show you what else that has not done well here. These 2 trees right here, these are Lapin cherry trees. They are, I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know they take 2 varieties here of cherries and they graft them in to another rootstock. And they don't do well here. In fact, I have 2 now. That one at the end was a Lapin's. I pulled it out, it died, and replaced it with a, well, let me show you it. All right, there used to be a Lapin's cherry here. We replaced it with a Royal Crimson cherry. Not a cheap tree, okay? This retailed for $79.50, and I think we got it for $10 off, so $69.50. Still expensive. At the nursery, they said that these do very well. I lost 1 already. So this one's hanging in there, but barely. I can tell it's got some kind of bacterial infection or something going on here, some kind of blight or something. We'll see how it does, you know, next year if it comes back better. But right now it's so. You know, when you're starting an orchard, you do all this research and you're trying to find out what works best for your planting zone. You know, we are in 8B, so I made sure all the trees that I got they have the amount of chill hours that it needs. So we get roughly 700 chill hours. Those are temperatures below 45 degrees. So I make sure to stay below that mark, you know, under 700. So all these trees here are below that 700 chill hour mark. But even after doing all the research, figuring out what works best, they still die. There's no guarantee, right? All right, this tree here, now I just showed you that I spent what was it, $70 on a cherry tree. This tree right here, I went to Home Depot. They had this box of trees that the roots were in a little plastic pouch, basically. It was about the size of my pinky, the stem, or the trunk here. The tree probably, total length was probably 3 feet long, if that. We bought it, had it sit in that bag for like, gosh, I don't know, a couple of months. And it almost died. I said, you know what, let me plant this thing. Put it in here, planted it, and it's doing fantastic. This is an Alberta peach. It's doing great. All the rest of my peaches were dying. So, you know, it's just trial. It's just a matter of figuring out through trial and error, unfortunately, and it gets expensive, what works best for your area, your climate, your zone, and your weather, how much watering, and how your soil is, and you're gonna, and a few trees are gonna die. And until you find that right variety of fruit tree that grows well in your area, you know, you're gonna be replacing trees. And I would talk to neighbors and friends and and find out what has worked, what's worked for them, or people that grow trees, that have orchards and stuff, that are in your area. That's about all you can do. You know, it's about all you can do, really. Again, you know, I've done tons of research. In fact, I'm so tired of doing research, and you still end up making mistakes. I mean, a lot of you guys, you know how it is. You want to buy something, you do tons of research, and you buy it, and it ends up still being a piece of junk, right? So, let me get back to my apple tree there, and let's go plant that thing. Now this tree here, I got it, what was it, Lowell's. And believe it or not, they had a pretty good variety of trees there. They have different types of nectarines they had different types of apples. So I got this one. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, see how that fits. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Alrighty. Now I've mixed some soil here, which is, it's a mixture of the soil here, about 1/3 of the soil that I have here, 1/3 manure, and 1/3 compost. So I'm going to use that for around the tree. I'm going to mix in some of the regular dirt too. Alright, that looks good enough for now. Only 48 more to go. All right, guys. So hope you enjoyed the little tour and my excuses for why all the trees died. I don't know. I'm no expert, like I said. I don't know. Things that happen, I guess, huh? Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys in the next video.